Hello, and welcome to step 2 of making your sample engine. So the first thing I want to do is I want to add a new part studio to my thing. And so this we're going to call the piston, okay? So I'm going to go to rename, and I'm going to type piston. Or actually, you know what? I'm going to call it engine, or just, I'm going to put it in caps. Okay, so piston. So engine block, piston. So our piston now, we're going to start, and this is going to be very simple, okay? I'm going to create a hollow piece, and then I'm going to create a cap on the top, and then I'm going to create a rod that goes through the middle. So I'm going to start with sketch. And this time I'm going to go to top view. And it is important that for me, it makes it a lot easier once these planes are gone. So I'm going to right click and go to hide planes. This is sort of what I do each time because they don't set that as a default. So my piston hole over here, if I go to measure and I select this tells me a diameter of 4. So if that's a diameter of 4, this also needs to be a diameter of 4 because the piston's got to fit inside of the object. Okay. So I also am going to make a circle here. And so I want the inside of my cylinder to be 0.5 inches. So I'm going to make this either 3.5 or 3 inches. That way it leaves half inches on either side. I said a half inch, I mean 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to make it 3.5, so it's 0.25 on the outside rim of this. There we go. And so I'm going to make, you can do this two ways. You can either measure between the two and then just say 0.25. And then you could change that if you wanted to do the math in your head. That's pretty easy too, but now that way it is, if I were to show you the driven constraint of this, it should be 3.5, and you see that it is grayed out, which means it's driven since this is 0.25. So that kind of gives you an idea of how that works. So I'm going to go to extrude here, and I want this. Now, I want my overall piston to be 4 inches. So, and I said that this was 0.25, so I'm actually going to extrude this 3.75, or I can even do this, 4 minus 0.25. And now it should give me that size. So it should be, the height of this is now 3.5 inches, or 3.75 inches. Now I'm going to create a sketch on the top of this, and I'm going to create a circle here. So I'm going to show you something kind of neat. So with Inventor, this is the way I would do it. With this software, you don't have to have an open sketch to be able to start an extrusion. So if I select this and this, I didn't create a sketch. I'm just working off of just the shape, which is kind of cool with this software. So I'm going to say 0.25. And there is my piston. Now I have to have a way to attach it to the next part that we're going to create, which is called the connecting rod. So the connecting rod is going to be 1 inch in thickness, and the hole in the middle is going to also be 1 inch. So I'm going to now create a sketch in the front view. And since I made my original circle on the actual origin, now this is perfectly centered. So what I'm going to do is on here, I can choose over here, here it is, I can choose to project the geometry. So I'm going to steal this, and this gives me a, let's see here, I actually want a line that goes across from here to here. And the reason for this, and you can also do this, you can make it a construction line. But the reason I want to do that is I want to create my circle that comes down from this, straight down from this, and I want to be able to measure off of that to give myself an actual size. So the circle is going to be 1 inch, because that's how big the connecting rod hole is going to be. And then when I'm looking at it this way, I can see where that hole is, and I'm going to create a dimension between the center of this and this. And I want this to be centered in this object. So why does it give me that dimension all the way up there? That's weird. Let's do our dimension from this line to this. There we go. So I want it to be as close to the center as possible. So I'm going to make this, or not as close, it's going to be exact. So I want this to be 2. So this is now dead center. And I'm going to have it now extrude this direction, okay? And I'm going to say to next, up to next. So it gives me that piece there, all right? I'm going to leave it this way, and I'll show you why in just a second. So I said that the object is going, or the connecting rod is going to be 1 inch thick also. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take and I'm going to create one more sketch right here. And I'm going to create, let's look at it from the bottom. I'm going to create a little shape here that makes it so the connecting rod has something to bump up against. I can put some, I can leave this way. I can do it sort of however I want, but what I like to do is make this, that's not what I meant to do. From this point, still not doing it, from that point to here, I want this to be 1. And from that point to here, I want this also to be 1. Now, I'm going to use my project geometry again, and I'm going to steal the front of this. And what I want is, if this is going, if the connecting rod, and this is half of it, is going to be 1, I'm going to make this 0.5. And then I am going to extrude. See how this hasn't closed in yet? I need to actually close it in. Oops. Let's go concentric between this and this. So now they match up, and this should be a closed polygon. I don't know why it's not. Let's see if it extrudes. There we go. Good. Okay. So I'm now going to add it. I'm going to flip it downwards. And I want it to go to, I'm going to click blind, because I know what the distance is, but I'm going to have it go up to a face, and I'm going to choose this face. Okay? And then when I hit check, I've got a little circle in the center. I could have done it. I could have created this first and then created that, but it's just the choice I made. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to mirror. And now this is important, okay? Inventor allows you to choose parts by clicking here. This software doesn't do that. You have to select feature mirror. So I'm going to select this feature and this feature, and then my mirror plane, I'm going to choose this. Otherwise, what it does is it mirrors the entire part, and I'll show you what happens when you do that. So if I go to part mirror, this is the wrong way to do it. And I select my part, and then I select my mirror face. What it did was it actually creates a new part, even though it's merging the two parts. And I don't want to do that. I want to make sure when I do this, I'm just mirroring just the features. Okay? All right. So there is now my piston. Okay? And just as I said before, I am going to make these different shades of gray. So I'm now going to take in, and I chose this one first, or sorry, this one first. So this is going to be number 2. And then check, and I'm done. Okay. Now you're ready to create the connecting rod.